Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic, host of Bachelor Nation News. It's barrel scraping season here. No shows till July 11th, 2022. And when are they going to air Bachelor in Paradise? Is it canceled? Is it not canceled? It looks like it's coming back, and it looks like it's happening this fall. Oh, but I love watching people party under a yurt or a palapa in August. Will I still enjoy it in October? Yeah, you're going to still enjoy it in October. The fall leaves are going to be falling. The drama is going to be piling up in Salicito, Mexico, or wherever the heck they end up doing this thing, and we're gonna like it. But we're getting some information that a villain right here, is heading to Bachelor in Paradise, and her cohort, or I should say her counterpart, will not be. So does the bad guy win? We'll have to look into this. We're gonna play a clip from this podcast. Do me a favor, follow me on Instagram at DNeals. And I'm going to be going live midday today, 10 a.m. Pacific time for a couple hours on Patreon, patreon.com/Dave Neal. If you want behind-the-scenes membership-only content, I'll be sharing it over there as we build the different thumbnails and set ourselves up for this, a lot of content that's going on. We say it's barrel scraping time of year, but there's a lot to be scraped out of the barrel. Let's go ahead and listen to Love to See It with Emma and Claire and hear what they have to say about who's coming on The Bachelor in Paradise. And I should say, as I'm winded over here on my treadmill, that if you don't want to hear these spoilers, get the hell out of here. What are you doing? All right, here we go.
We were a little concerned that we hadn't heard any rumblings of Bachelor in Paradise. And according to some Bachelor gossip accounts, I think Zachary Reality posted that it is definitely on for 2022. And we'll be taping this summer and we'll probably start airing in September.
And apparently, Wells Adams is set to host, which I think is a good move. Wells has been there, bartending for a while, and he sort of low-key took on some hosting duties when they had the rotating set of hosts last year. I feel like it was almost like his testing ground, and I think that this is a good move for them.
I'm a little surprised. I thought they would have been all in on Jesse Palmer, but it looks like they're going to go with Wells, which is good. They still could have guests on the show. I think what they realized with Bachelor in Paradise, there's so much drama already going on. It's like, do we need more bodies on the beach?
I love that they will kind of take these former contestants and elevate them a little bit within the franchise, have them on to do special segments or to be the bartender, but then keep them in that role for long enough, they start to get offended and insulted and are like, really? Am I just the bartender? Are you ever going to let me host Bachelor in Paradise? And then they're like, all right, once you've begged, we'll do it.
Yeah, they need to play that song, No Longer a Girl, But Not Yet a Woman. Is that the Britney Spears song? I'm sure I messed that up, but that's Wells. He's like, no longer a bartender, but not yet a host.
Exactly.
They know their power.
Zachary Reality also reported some people that we will probably be seeing in Paradise. Apparently on the guys' side, Olu from Michelle's season, Justin Glaze from Katie's season, Mikey from Katie's season, Andrew S. from Katie's season, Pardeep from Katie's season.
Interesting.
Brandon from Michelle's season, Rodney from Michelle's season, and Casey from Michelle's season are all apparently set to go on. In terms of the women, it's all Clayton's women: Teddy, Serene, Sierra, Shanae, Cassidy.
Can't wait for Serene. We're going to have another video about her coming out after this. It's a good video. We love Serene. Serene's going to cause drama. None of her doing, just through her own beauty. There's going to be a lot of brawls on the beach.
Mara and Marlena are all going.
Oh, good for Marlena.
And allegedly, Elizabeth was not invited.
Wow, you hear that? Elizabeth was not invited. So let's listen to those last group again.
All Clayton's women: Teddy, Serene, Sierra, Shanae, Cassidy, Mara, and Marlena.
So we heard Shanae. So Shanae's in the list. They actually kind of glazed over that. This is a big deal. This is a big deal that Shanae's on the list. She's obviously, our thumbnail that we had there is Shanae. Shanae is on the list. No Elizabeth. What the heck could have gone down? Let's listen to their theories, which I'm going to back up after.
Are all going. And allegedly, Elizabeth was not invited.
I kind of can't believe this.
I know. I'm kind of the fact that they brought Shanae back, but not Elizabeth. It really makes me think that Elizabeth did something to really put producers off.
Whoa. Now, she did things, whether it's morally put them off or contractually is where we have to get into. So I've got a whole bunch of Elizabeth conversations here that we had where Elizabeth's community with Genevieve. But did she say Genevieve on the list? We know Genevieve's going to be on the list. I was going to say on the bitch. That was a Freudian slip. Excuse me. It happens, folks. No edits. Bachelor star Elizabeth celebrates birthday with Shanae sign. Of course, they didn't write the sign, but they, she had to apologize. Elizabeth issues a statement, responding to Clayton's statement. Elizabeth was very vocal, and she also did her own photo shoot here, right there. She did her own Bachelorette themed photo shoot, and it makes you just wonder: did the show made her take this down? The show, you cannot have a rose. That's the show's brand. I know it's weird, right? I don't understand how entertainment law works. The show probably legally can't tell her to take it down, but boy, a nicely worded legal letter will make anyone just break the thorns in half. So the question is, what the heck went down, and why would they pick Shanae over Elizabeth? Well, we know, we know why they want Shanae. And here's how we have to look at it. As toxic as we think Shanae was, people go, oh, she said what she said. She was in this situation. I look at it this way, and I actually did Reality Steve's podcast yesterday. It just went out. And I make a case for Shanae. Now, my case isn't defending Shanae's actions and her words. It's to say, what version of Shanae would we get when there isn't 20 women fighting for one guy? Is there a version of Shanae that plays fair, that actually makes connections and has a redemption story? And everyone goes, well, she had the chance to apologize. She never did it, this and that. And I go, her walls went up. Again, this is just my opinion of, knowing people that are complicated and, whatever. Her walls went up as soon as she said something that the other women didn't like, not defending what she said, right? And then the other, because she was kind of like, don't we all have ADHD or whatever? She said something kind of like that flippantly. And then everyone was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? And they were like, you need to apologize right now. And at that moment, it's like, to some people, you need to do this. To some people, they go, well, I'm never going to do that now. I'm never going to, you will have to pry an apology from my cold, dead heart before, and people exist like that. And why apologize in a hostage situation anyway? So she goes on the Women Tell All, right? Oh, that's Wells. She goes on the Women Tell All, and for, probably 45 minutes, they edit it into 5 minutes, the women just kind of interrupt her and yell at her, and we actually don't get to hear any sort of graceful moment. Now people will say, oh, geez, come on. She accused Genevieve of sleeping with so-and-so. She called someone a see you next Tuesday, all these other things. I go, yeah, what happens in a dog fight, not relating women to dogs, but just in general, or, rules get thrown out the window in a brawl. And I think that she's been in a brawl this whole time. I wonder if the Bachelor producers are saying just go radio silent on your social media and all that, and we'll bring on Bachelor in Paradise, and we'll see if we can either redeem you, or then you'll have another chance to prove who you are. You see someone like Chad Johnson, he was an a-hole on JoJo's season, and then he goes on Bachelor in Paradise, and then he becomes an a-hole again. You go, all right, Chad's got some problems. He does. He's mentioned he has PTSD, and he's a military vet, and he's got all these issues. Mom passed away briefly. A lot of issues that he had, but we got to see a little bit more of who he was. And I actually find places in my heart to have grace for someone like Chad Johnson, because remember, he was taking his mic pack off and he was like, F you, Chris Harrison. It was a great line. Chad made a lot of points. He was also an a-hole, but he made a lot of points about not wanting to fall for the show's manipulation. Well, Shanae's in a position where, whether it was through the show's encouragement or not, she said and did things that really pissed a lot of people off. And it relates to another villain that we just had. Let me find the message here. Victoria Larson, which we made a video yesterday where Victoria says, they said, why do you hate the producers? And she says, because they're manipulative and pick and choose storylines. And then the Bachelorette and a lot of accounts said, not going to lie, it's high-key annoying to me when former contestants start talking shit about the show and producers after going on multiple seasons and getting all of their following from that same show. We will take whatever tea we're served, I guess, but also not a good look. And my thought is, until you've ever been in a situation of high stress, high adversity, you don't know how you would react. Victoria Larson says, well, they told me to take the crown off someone's head. And people go, well, I wouldn't have done that. And my response is, you have no flipping clue what you would have done. You have no flipping clue what your character is in a situation of high stress, on a show like The Bachelorette or The Bachelor, where you're drinking and you're not getting your sleep and you're comparing yourself and all your insecurities from body issues and shaming and all these things come to a boiling point. You have no idea how you would act. So it's foolish to me that anyone even pretends to go, well, I wouldn't have been a Shanae. you have no clue who you would have been. And I'm more interested in seeing a redemption of a Shanae versus somebody who's kind of not as messy. That's just me. People's response might be, well, she's triggering an audience and the show's platforming someone's toxic behavior. And my thought is, if you've ever you ever go to driver's ed, in my driver's ed at least, they would show like all these horrific photos of car accidents and it would scare you straight into how to be. And the way I'm relating that now is it's like, well, maybe there's a version of triggering that is actually helpful because it shows us what not to do and how to overcome. And that's that whole idea of counsel versus cancel. And whether or not we get that from Shanae is yet to be seen, but I'd rather see how it plays out on the beach. And I would really hope if Shanae does go onto the beach that we get a version of her that's not instantly attacked by others. Give her a little buffer zone to see who she is all I'm saying. I don't know her personally or any of that. Let's hear what the ladies have to say. Let's wrap this up.
Right. It seems really odd that she had a lot of fan support because the feud with Shanae seemed so unprovoked. And, the mockery of her ADHD from Shanae, she garnered a lot of sympathy. Like, she's beautiful. Like, why wouldn't they want her to replay that conflict on the beach? That's like their bread and butter.
The only thing I can think of is that she's just
They don't want to work with her.
Yeah.
But all the other women seem to love her.
That's what's weird. Like, yeah, I think Elizabeth came off pretty well. I mean, she had people who sure didn't like her, but overall, like, she got along with all the women in the house. She got a lot of fan support. So I personally am really surprised. We did hear that she had a segment on Women Tell All that was not good, and so it got completely cut from the final edit. So I wonder if they were just like, that was kind of your tryout, you didn't perform, we don't want to work with you for whatever reason. But wow. I was really shocked by that.
This is how it works when they talk about tryouts. This is how it works. All right, we'll give you your chance. So we're talking about Elizabeth there, and apparently they did address the neurodiversity issue, and they cut it from the final cut. And it makes you wonder when the show, like, if the show wants a storyline, the producers want a storyline to come out, and if they feel like they've exhausted every angle of that storyline, they've beat a dead horse, there's nowhere to go from there, then they're going to go in a different direction. We'll have to see how that plays out. Also, they haven't shot the dang show yet. So that doesn't mean, everyone's contracts are etched in stone. The show's not going to shoot for a few months anyway. We'll have to see how it all plays out. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going live on Patreon right after this. Come join me, patreon.com/Dave Neal. Catch my live stream there. And I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Content coming all day long. We have a new video up on the Dave Neal Show and the new stand-up comedy channel, Dave Neal Stand-Up Comedy Clips. We'll see you in a short while. Bye, everybody.